Hello, fellow old schoolers. So I'm back in my old playgroup where I live, Aalborg Electric Eels. And this time it's a disc control setup against homebrew deck, red, white, and black. Deck that's kind of different. It has both pretty aggressive elements and also control elements. The disc control deck is something one of our usual players is always tweaking, and I don't know which version he's bringing today, but it's usually between some aggro trolls or some control-ish archetype with it. So without further ado, here we go. So we got the disc controls on the left here, starting out with a City of Brass and Amok Sapphire. And we're trying to find somewhere where there isn't as much glare. So, okay, so he's putting out a set troll round 2, but it gets immediately Swords to Plowshare by the other deck. That I have a hard time knowing what archetype it is. It is a homebrew, as said. But we'll see more of it as we go along. So he tries to get in with the factory, and the Swords to Plowshare gets countered, and then he just throws down another Swords to Plowshares. So that's 3 out. We had round 3. So we have a volcanic island, and then he plays a wheel. I suppose he has less cards than his opponent at this point. So it's a discharge from the homebrew deck. Might as well. He'll lose the hand anyway. Getting rid of that discharge. And there's a rook egg. Excellent. That's actually pretty nice against a troll disco deck. As when the disc resolves it, you'll get a 4/4 flyer from it. But it's not a common card. Pretty interesting what that homebrew deck will bring out. There's a book. So immediately he actually has some control elements here, trying to get card advantage. And there's the second troll coming out of the woodwork here. So both players are armed to the teeth again here, with a full hand. There's a factory. Thinking a bit, and okay, he's putting out a Sarah Angel. Okay, but he attacks with that just smells like a bolt, right? So he attacks with the Sedge Troll, and the play on the right just lets it in. And then he decides, this control deck decides to Sonic Blast the Angel. Probably wanted him to block with the Angel, and then he could regenerate his own troll and then bolt the Angel. Okay, so he's a Demonic Tutor coming out, and a 4th Swords to Plowshare. So that's it. All the Swords to Plowshares have been used now. Another City of Brass, and passing the turn. Okay, Ancestral Recall coming up. And then putting out a Library of Alexandria. I'm not sure how many cards he has. He's not within lower range, but he will be soon because of that Library of Alexandria. So he attacks with the factory, and it gets bolted. Okay, so he is within lower range, I see. Okay, so homebrew deck puts out a Granite Gargoyle, so now he's on the attack here. And it gets bolted, and it doesn't have enough mana to... No, okay, he bolts the dice of his opponent. So the red and white deck is at 9 life at this point. He hasn't really made any damage to his opponent yet. Okay, and there's a demonic tutor. I wonder what he'll get. I mean, the ancestor recall has already been used. Okay, he takes a mind twist. Thanks for showing us. That's a good call, I suppose. I reckon he thinks that he'll have a disc against that granite gargoyle and book, and after the mind twist, he'll have complete control over the game. So he mind twists his opponent, and yeah, the red and white deck just bolts him instead of losing the card. It does cost him a point of damage himself, though, using that City of Brass. Okay, so now he comes in with the gargoyle. He has one card in hand. Okay, so there's a disc, the first disc, and it'll probably get used the next turn to get rid of that book and attacking creature. Okay, but he removed it. There's a lot of removal. It's Henrik from some earlier games on this channel with that red and white deck. He just put in black in it as well with those City of Brass. Just a 2-turn, the Mind Twist, as far as I know. There's a lot of destruction in that deck. Okay, so he comes over with both gargoyles, and now the disc is online. And that Library of Alexandria just keeps putting in the work. And there goes the disc. So now the book is gone, and both attacking creatures. This is a very good situation for the disc controls deck. Okay, and he ends the game there. It's a Sonic Blast and a Lightning Bolt, just finishing the game. So that's 1-0 for the disc control. And I'm not sure what variant he plays here, but as I said earlier, he has different kinds, but I think it's a control variant he has taken today. Okay, so the homebrew deck starts out with a Savannah Lion, and there's an Ancestor Recall from this control in the other guys in the red-white deck's upkeep. So the homebrew deck, it has both like early pressure, weenie elements, a lot of removal, and also some draw engines, and yeah, it's a fun deck. I have no idea what will come up. Rogex as well. Okay, so we have that's a Mark 10 altar right there. It's a Sol Ring with the Dewsum altar on it from this control deck. So he has a lot of mana already. Okay, so the red-white deck decides to remove some of it with a Divine Offering. I think I would have taken the Sol Ring there, just to get a point of life. And okay, getting out of Rogex, and it gets mana drained. That's a fun situation. I'm not really regarding it as a high threat, but I suppose it can be against the disc control deck. Mind you, this is the second round, so there's sideboard cards in both decks at this point. It's a best of 3. Okay, so there's a disc and a Sedge Troll, and the player on the left he could play all that because all the mana he got from the mana drain fueled most of it out. And the red-white deck just picks it apart. He has so many answers in that deck. The red-white deck is actually unpowered as far as I know. So it's a nice showing from him. He usually does rather well with that deck, even though he doesn't have the power as some of the other guys. There's Sonic Blast, and there's the first sideboard card we see there, a Red Elemental Blast. So he decides, the disc control deck decides to bolt him. He has a lot of burn. And then trying to Sonic Blast him again at the end step, and as another red blast to counter it. Okay, so that's why he burned so much. He empties his hand trying to damage the other guy, and there's the wheel. So now both players got a full hand again, ready to come swinging. And there's a Dawn library going again. That's why my philosophy with deck building in Swedish old school is to have land destruction spells in every deck. I mean, the Chaos Orb and the Strip Mine, it's not enough. You need a lot of answers against that. In my opinion, anyway. Okay, so we got a Granite Gargoyle. He needs to work fast because that library is just netting the disc control player a lot of cards here. Drew a Black Lotus, there it goes. Another card. Okay, there's a disc. Sacking the Lotus and putting out the disc. So now he has double blue mana for counter spells, and he might just sack the Lotus in order to avoid taking damage from those City of Brass. So there comes the Granite Gargoyle in for a swing, and the red-white player plays the Plains and passing the turn. And this controls has his disc up, but it seems hesitant about using it. Draws another card and has cast a Time Walk. Okay, so he uses the disc now, just to get rid of that gargoyle, and then he takes his second turn. And again drawing with that Library of Alexandria. And then the disc control attacks with the factory, trying to get some damage going here, but it gets bolted by the red-white. He was considering countering it, I think. Neither side can really get a grip on the opponent at this point. Both sides really trying to take control of the game and jockeying for position, but they can't really get in. It's evolving into a real control game here. That's a Blood Moon. That is brutal at this point. Yeah, and of course you can't allow it, but perhaps it was a trick because there's a Serra Angel, so okay, the red-white deck is going in for the kill here. Not trying to. That's a Sonic Blast though. There's a lot of burn in that disc control deck. I don't think I've ever seen him play with that much burn before. Okay, so the red-white deck tries again. This time trying to get the cheap book out, the Yalom Tome. It works with as the Yimday Tome, but you have to discard a card in order for it to work, and it only costs 2 mana to play and to activate. So it's a way to increasing the quality of the cards you have in hand, and it could work with land tax as well, obviously, where you just discard the basic lands you've drawn. But all in all, it's another way to get some sort of card advantage here. There's a disc, but disc control plays a red mox, so I don't think he plans on using the disc just to get rid of that Yalom Tome. Otherwise he wouldn't have played that red mox. And there's a mana shot. This is a new addition as well. That card just seems to be really in vogue in those playgroups I've been in lately. Both at the High Mountain and in Aalborg, and actually in South Africa as well. I wonder what's going on. But it's quite fun. I mean, it's half a time walk almost. Now he has tapped all the opponent's mana, and he's actually taking damage from that City of Brass as well. So passing the turn, I think I'm not sure, he tried to draw a card with the Yalom Tome. I'm not sure he can do that because his mana pool is emptied by the mana short. I don't know what these guys ended up ruling. I was playing at another table at this point. I just kept the camera rolling. Okay, so he elects to Chaos Orb the Yalom Tome and putting out a factory. So trying to get just a point of damage. And actually, I think all the damage the red-white deck has taken so far, it's probably mostly been from that City of Brass. Perhaps a bolt. That's it. And the Granite Gargoyle is removed as well. It's so hard for these guys to get in. But I think the disc control deck plays correctly here. He needs to remove the draw engines from the red-white deck, and then the blue power of the disc control deck will work. To provide the card advantage for him to win. So now he starts to bolt him down. That's 2 lightning bolts to the face of the red-white player. Just ignoring the Granite Gargoyle. It's actually a pretty sweet creature. Because it's a 2/2 flyer and he can pump its toughness, so it's really hard to get rid of. Okay, so he bolted him twice and then firebolts him out. And Henrik thought that he wanted to kill the gargoyle, and then realizing, oh, okay, you got enough mana to kill me and I don't have that much life left. So he just actually burned him out again. So this is round 3 of this matchup. Still with sideboards going, and the red and white deck is on the play. There's another Savannah Lion turn 1 and a Library of Alexandria turn 1 from the disc control player. It's such a dominating card. But it's a decent start, at least from the red and white deck as well. Oh, but there's a bolt. Oh man. Drawing another card with that library. Ooh, but there's a Blood Moon. That'll make the library a mountain. And he had a really hard time getting the Blood Moon out in the last game because there was so much counter magic up. But this time, he got it early. There is a basic island though, so he time walks the disc control player, I mean, and puts out a factory, but mind you, that's a mountain as well. And then he time twists. He actually has more cards in hand than his opponent, but he needs to get something going here to remove that Blood Moon. Just moving a bit forward here. Didn't want to use too much time watching these guys shuffle. Okay, so... Oh, and then he stone rains the island. That's mean. That's a disc, okay. So, even though the Blood Moon is evil against him, he does have those Nevinyrral's disc to get rid of them, and he can cast those even with red mana. And he also has a bunch of red spells as well in his deck. There's a disc, and the Blood Moon is gone. So now the library is online again. And there's a Sextro coming out. So the disc control player is actually tapped out again. That means it's time to shine, I guess, if he can. The red and white deck. Make something happen here. The more I'm watching this archetype, the red and white, there's a 2-turn, okay. The disc control deck, it almost looks like a counterburn deck with disc elements in it. In this variant, there's so much burn in it. And many counter spells as well. Okay, so the red white deck tutors, yeah, he could go for a Mind Twist, but he can't get it. He could go for a Blood Moon as well, actually. If he has another one, he could do that. No, he took a Divine Offering. What? Why? Okay, no, he took a... I think he tutored for that. I think that's a good play. Actually, the set control is only a 2-2 now because there aren't any swarms to boost it anymore. And he can't regenerate. Oh, and he has a Divine Offering in hand, so if the disc control player plays his second disc now, he can Divine Offer it. That's a luck. I don't know if the disc control deck has sideboarded Blue Blast then. If he has more basic items, I suppose he could Blue Blast that Blood Moon. There's an Angel. Okay, a double bolt on it. So the offensive is still on the disc control player. But look at that, he can't use the library and he can't really get anything out. He can only burn. And there's enough creatures in that deck. And all the burn going to them just means that he can't burn the red-white deck out. So the red-white deck player just tries to keep as much red mana untapped as possible in order to boost the Granite Gargoyle. There's a lightning bolt against the Sedge Troll, and it can't regenerate. There's only mountains. And there's a red Mox. That's unfortunate. On the hand of the disc control player, just slowly dying to that gargoyle. I've tried this as well. It's infuriating, but also it's a great equalizer against power, I think, the Blood Moon. There's a Sushi. Another Sedge Troll, but it can't regenerate. So disc control player's at 10 life. He needs something to happen here. Another swing. He's not attacking with the Sushi. Keeping that back as a defender, I suppose. We saw he had that Divine Offering in hand. So it's actually pretty brutal. He can just slowly poke him to death. And he needs something. He needs the disc out and something to protect it with, I suppose. Another factory, but it's a mountain, and I just shows his hand. There's 2 red blasts and a Divine Offering, and I think it was a disenchant as well, so he can't get a disc out. He won't survive. Okay, so he goes with the book as his opponent's end step. He's got him in a complete headlock at this point. Even if the disc control deck could counter the Divine Offering, he has a disenchantment. He also has red blasts in hand to counter the counterspell. But he doesn't attack with the Sushi. I guess electing to play it really safe at this point. Perhaps fearing a bolt. A block from the troll and then a bolt. I don't know. That's game. That's a complete submission hold here. So the red, white, black homebrew deck equalized the score a bit. So it was a 2-1 victory for the disc control deck. Next up, I'm gonna try my luck with the Composition A mono black variant against the disc control deck. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.